Grand Canyon is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Its majesty is renowned around the globe.
But not far away, Mother Nature has created sights just as breathtaking as the Grand Canyon. Hello everyone and welcome to Grander Than the Canyon. I'm Emma Borstboom.
And I'm Miriam Dane. We are part of a student group from the Netherlands and are here at NAU to learn more about live television production in America.
For most of us, this is our first time in the Grand Canyon state. But when we came here, we discovered that northern Arizona is so much more than just the Grand Canyon.
It is home to so many beautiful places and offers spectacular scenery. Today, we will show you some of them, and you will see northern Arizona is really grander than the canyon. The first stop on our tour will take us a little bit back in time.
Did you know that hundreds of thousands of years ago there were active volcanoes here in Flagstaff? And some remnants can still be found today. Anne Gunstelaar will take you on a trip to those natural wonders.
Hi, my name is Anne, and I'm here at the Sunset Crater. It's one of the many unique geological areas in Arizona. Even though it's mainly known for the Grand Canyon, Route 66 and the Red Rocks, Arizona has a lot more to offer.
Sunset Crater was created thousands of years ago by a volcanic eruption. Ranger Marge Ullman explains how all that lava created the landscape we see today.
So the lava goes up and the cinders fall down, and then it just builds up into this steep volcanic feature, the cinder cone, and it just keeps falling down the side until it's done.
A common misconception about Sunset Crater is that there's still a chance that it will explode. Luckily, you have nothing to worry about.
Because it's a cinder cone, this volcano is actually a one-time thing. So once the cinder cone formed, it was finished. The magma chamber is empty underneath.
After the lava destroyed most of the landscape, it was very hard for plants to grow back.
It was such an arid climate that the plants can't take root on the lava, and the lava has to break down that rock, and soil has to collect because it's not very nutritious for the plant roots.
Now that we've learned about the beautiful Sunset Crater, we're going to visit another unique geological structure. Geologist Wayne Rennie is going to tell us more about it.
The Lava River Cave here near Flagstaff, Arizona in the Grand Canyon was formed from a lava flow about 700,000 years ago. And the lava flow was moving down the slope. It came up from a vent just to the east of the cave. And the lava flow was quite thick. And the outsides of it, the sides and the bottom and the top, they all cooled and hardened while the red-hot lava was still moving through.
If you ever plan to visit the Lava River Cave, keep in mind to bring lights, sturdy shoes, and don't underestimate the cold.
Temperature stays the average of the year-round temperature at that elevation, about 42 degrees Fahrenheit. That would be about 6 degrees Celsius. And you know, when you go in there, you're going into a microenvironment, but as soon as that air escapes from the Lava River Cave, it's assimilated with the larger environment outside the cave.
The cool temperature inside the cave isn't the only thing that makes it interesting to visit.
This Lava River Cave has some features that I have not seen in some other lava caves. And you may have noticed there was basalt rock that looked like icicles. You also saw ripple marks and pahoehoe lava. That's the very ropey type of lava. So there are some very fun features in the cave.
Now that we've seen the crater and the cave, we've learned about the enormous impact volcanoes have on the geology in Arizona. For Grander Than the Canyon, I'm Anne.
Northern Arizona offers diversity in nature. Only an hour drive away from Sunset Crater along the famous Route 66, you will find yourself in a whole different world.
In Sedona, red rocks dominate the landscape. They look like straight out of a Western movie and amaze millions of visitors each year. They are also believed by some to carry a spiritual entity. Amy Wong in Sedona has more.
Come explore with me Sedona, Arizona, where we'll learn more about vortexes and their surrounding beauty.
Sedona's environment is a riparian habitat, which is also known as wetland. Heidi Erickson, who is a Red Rock State Park ranger, is concerned with the impact that humans have on the area.
Much of Arizona riparian areas have been lost due to cultivation, development for housing. So we really only have about 5% of that riparian habitat left here. Up here in Oak Creek Canyon, just north of us, we have lots of people who come to swim in the creek. They leave trash, and riparian habitats are very important, especially in arid climates like we have here in Arizona. It's very important, and one of the reasons this park was established was try to protect at least a portion of that so we can maintain it for the future.
Everyone agrees on the breathtaking beauty of Sedona. However, there are various opinions on the source of the energy, the power, and the magic.
What makes Sedona's environment so extraordinary are what locals call vortexes, high-energy spiritual areas usually found within nature. Pete Sanders has written several books on spirituality and is an expert on vortexes.
The simplest thing to say is a vortex is an enhanced energy site that makes it easier to do prayer, meditation, mind-body healing, or outside-the-box new discovery.
Now that we know what vortexes are, Sedona seems like the perfect environment for vortexes to occur. But why?
Perfect color, low population density, perfect elevation, and people coming here for decades, maybe even millennia, for spiritual practices.
Sedona's vortexes are known worldwide, and many people come from all over the world to experience their effects. Airport Mesa is a favorite vortex destination amongst tourists because of its spectacular view of the city.
I most like Airport Mesa Vortex because it's like climbing up 3 or 4 flights of stairs, but then you get this panorama of the whole area. Many people like how Bell Rock has levels, and the higher you go, the upflow's stronger, so they can kind of pick how much they need to get feeling unstuck.
Even though not everyone believes in the effects of the vortexes, Sedona's environment is and stays undoubtedly beautiful.
You can always definitely say that when you come to Sedona and see the beauty, even if you don't believe in vortexes, you can feel inspired by the beauty of the red rocks that are around you. In conjunction with the trees and the stream, they all combine to just provide a great experience for visitors.
We hope you enjoyed exploring the majestic red rocks. I'm Amy Wong in Sedona, Arizona, which is grander than the canyon.
Some people believe that below Earth's surface are invisible lines that intersect and create the power of vortexes. It is all part of the magic of Sedona.
We have seen quite some incredible places that nature created. The next stop on our tour through northern Arizona will take us to a place where humans created homes out of nature. Sometimes that can even be an entire castle. Xenia de la Faye will tell us more about it.
Montezuma Castle is a dwelling that was built on the side of a cliff in northern Arizona. It was built in the 1400s by the Sinawa tribe, who very suddenly left their homes here.
Through weather data, we've been able to see that a drought came into this area and a spike in temperature that would have made their farming practices a little bit more difficult. They relied on creeks funneling into channels, canals that they would funnel to their farms, or the creek would overflow maybe into their farms. And if that wasn't happening anymore, that would have made things difficult.
Very little is known about Montezuma Castle's original name, but what is known is that its current name is highly inaccurate.
At the end of the Mexican-American War, many of the American cavalry members that fought in Mexico saw Aztec ruins and learned about Montezuma, the last Aztec emperor. And so Montezuma's name got splashed all over central Arizona, but it turns out he was never here, wasn't even born yet.
Montezuma Castle is a fine example of history well preserved. But what about the future? To answer this question, we went to see for ourselves what living in a sustainable future could possibly look like. So we traveled to nearby Arcosanti, the creation of artist Paolo Soleri, who had a vision of the city of the future.
We are now here at Arcosanti, also referred to as the city of the future. We're about to find out what makes it so special.
We met with Shannon McKenzie, who has been living and working at Arcosanti for over a year. She was able to tell us a little bit more about what Arcosanti really is.
It's an experimental architecture project that began in 1970, trying to experiment with different ways to urban plan a city and find ways to do so that work a little bit better with the earth.
Arcosanti's main source of income are the bells that they produce and sell. The bells were first created by Arcosanti's founder, Paolo Soleri. Today, they are still made the same way.
Soleri carved holes into the ground of the desert floor, filled it with liquid clay, and made bells from nothing. Each bell that comes out today is reminiscent of the designs and aesthetic that Soleri was putting onto the original bells in the 50s and 60s.
Arcosanti is a close-knit community, and the residents often help each other out.
The biggest pros of living at Arcosanti would have to be the community. We're saying, there's a way to live your life, live a rich life, without necessarily being rich, and with a community as your support mechanism.
So this was Arcosanti, and it is definitely grander than the canyon.
It was great to see how people embrace the environment and live in nature instead of destroying it.
That is so inspiring. Now that we've seen all of these amazing places, I really want to visit them.
But all this hiking, that can be quite dangerous. I'm wondering how we can prepare for this and what to do if something goes wrong. Mihai Punta has the answers.
On my first hike, I made a lot of silly mistakes. Just like many others, I didn't check the trail map. And why was I wearing flip-flops? That's not appropriate footwear for a hike. Water. Good. Staying hydrated is important. Too bad I didn't pack nearly enough. I also took a bag. That's so impractical. Sergeant Aaron Dick from the Coconino County Sheriff's Search and Rescue says I was lucky that my silly mistakes didn't have any serious consequences.
Nobody sets out with the intent to get hurt or lost, but that does happen to people. And so if they have that equipment, if they just make it a habit of carrying that equipment all the time, then when an emergency does happen, they're ready to take care of it.
And some of that equipment is essential no matter what kind of hike you're on.
Food, water, some sheltering material, some survival equipment, a first aid kit, some navigation equipment, and a light source.
However, problems can arise even when you're fully prepared. Sure, the cost of a rescue can be high, but that's why the agency generally covers it.
We don't want people to be scared of getting a bill and then not calling us soon enough. With the technology that we have in our dispatch center, we generally know where they are, and so our job is just to go to get them and then hike them out to their vehicle or to a trailhead where we can get them reunited with family members.
For the rescue missions, the SAR unit has a variety of vehicles available, and they go through extensive preparation.
Our first step is to gather the initial information about what's happening there, and then plot the location of the incident on a map so we can understand a little bit, so we understand what's going on with the terrain and make the decisions about what type of equipment and what type of personnel need to respond to that call. But we spend a lot of time training and use a lot of equipment to mitigate the risk to our searchers and rescuers.
Some of the riskiest missions are helicopter and technical rope rescues. However, Sergeant Aaron Dick and his team are always up for the challenge.
If there's a problem, we want people to know that they can call us at any time and we're available and willing to respond.
After my visit to the search and rescue unit, I learned to always pack enough water, carefully analyze the trail map, and use a backpack to not only carry the essential equipment for hiking, but also to keep both my hands free for agility and balance. I've come a long way. There are definitely a lot of places grander than the canyon to explore in Arizona, but please always make sure to be prepared because there's a lot that can go wrong. For Grander Than the Canyon, I'm Mihai Punta.
Thank you, Mihai, and thank you, Sergeant Aaron Dick, for keeping us all safe. Now we are all prepared to go out and explore northern Arizona.
But before we do, we have a special guest in the studio with us today, and our safety expert Mihai is here with him.
Thank you, Emma. Right now, northern Arizona is under extreme fire danger threat. Here to talk about the management of Coconino National Forest is Brady Smith. Brady, welcome to our studio. So tell me, what does an extreme fire danger threat imply?
So an extreme fire danger means it's probably the worst conditions that you could possibly have in a national forest where the conditions are extremely dry and they're very capable of starting a wildfire by just the smallest spark. And so with extreme fire danger, it's our highest fire danger across the national forest. And when we get to that level, we start implementing certain restrictions and doing things a little bit differently in the forest, and kind of educating the public a little bit differently on how to recreate in the forest.
And if a fire were to break out today, what would be the likely cause?
Today would probably be a human caused, and when I say human caused, it can be anything from a vehicle that's dragging a chain to maybe a flat tire and the rims causing spark, or a cigarette, abandoned campfire that's illegal. But we do have times during this time of year that we have dry lightning, and that's obviously a natural cause. That's something during the month of June that is something that we're very concerned about, especially with the upcoming weather. So wildfire can start from a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we can't do anything about lightning, but
No.
as people, we can take some measures. So aside from being careful with our hot vehicles and cigarette butts, what other things should people keep in mind?
Well, people really, when they come up to recreate in the forest, a lot of them are unaware that maybe we're in fire restrictions. There are area closures that we have right now, specific areas that are really high-risk areas, and those areas are closed to any entrance at all. So people need to abide by that and stay out of those areas. But all the other areas that are open, we have stage 2 fire restrictions, and that means that you can't have a campfire, you can't have an open flame. You can only park over bare mineral soil, so you can't, essentially you can't go off the forest roads. So people just need to abide by those rules because they're there for a certain reason, and it's to protect people from starting a wildfire.
Well, thank you, Brady, so much for your insight. And you've heard it. I think we're ready to head out and explore northern Arizona, but we have to keep in mind the fire restrictions. So back to the desk now.
Once again, thank you, Brady Smith, for being here with us today and talking about this very important topic. Coming from the rainy Netherlands, we were very concerned when we heard about the fire danger. Thankfully, there are people like Brady and his colleagues who keep us safe.
Unfortunately, we reached our last stop on our trip through northern Arizona. We want to thank all of the people who talked to our reporters and showed us around.
As you can see, northern Arizona truly is grander than the canyon. Hopefully our show inspired some of you to explore the beautiful nature here.
We hope you enjoyed the time with us. We sure did. Have a good rest of your day, and good night to our viewers in the Netherlands.